Hello there from the Three-Chord Kid or Delta Blues Tips. This is the Metro newspaper. It's a free paper on trains and buses, probably all over Europe, I think. It's the world's most popular free paper. So this paper is put on public transport for you to have free. Now, it's free. And it's quite a thick paper, which tells me straight away that it's free because it must cost a fortune to push this all over the world, Europe or whatever, and give away free. So that tells me that the powers that be are behind this paper. Straight away, I bet money on that. Anyway, the reason I picked this paper up, I don't read the newspapers and I don't watch the television because it's full of fucking shite. But I was coming through the station this morning, and this is on all the trains, like I say, and you can pick it up at the station or on the train, and I only go 2 stops, so I don't really have time, if I wanted to, look through it anyway. I might pick it up and pretend I'm reading it so that I'm not, don't look like I'm, because it's weird on trains. You got to try it. No one meets one another's gazes for some reason. Some kind of mental fucking thing going on there. Anyway, this headline: Breadline Britain's hungry 500,000. Now, bear in mind that this is the popular press. So the popular press never gives you the truth, of course. So for them to say this, it must be well worse than this. Let me just read a little bit of this. More than 500,000 people are going hungry in Britain. Tens of thousands more than previously thought. They are struggling to feed themselves as unemployment, rise in food prices, and in particular benefit cutbacks bite hard. Destitution, hardship and hunger are now even worse than feared, according to Oxfam, one of the charities highlighting the crisis. Okay, so what they're saying now is people are really getting poor. It's awful. Last month, Metro told how 350,000 people, including 126,000 children, had received at least 3 days' help from the Trussell Trust, which runs food banks across the country. So this is how bad it is in this country now. The poor are now having to be fed by charities. It's one of the richest countries in the world, Britain. And that's debate. I think it's probably the richest country in the world. Just a lot of secret wealth here that isn't in the official thing. So, pretty much like America, the few have got everything. Everything they've got. All the money, power. It's in the hands of the few. And the masses, which is the likes of us, which I include myself in, by the way, the masses. Sometimes I do include myself in the masses, and I have to admit most of the time I don't, because I'm aware of what's going on and the masses aren't. That's the way I see it. Plus the fact I am an individual, very individual. But anyway, that's the gist of this. We're in the wealthiest country on the planet, and there's nothing. They can't even feed, and the cutbacks that are coming are going to destroy the poor. Now, this is a subject, by the way, that I've been warning people about for a good 5 years now, if not longer. I was saying then to those that listen up, if we are ever discussing this kind of thing, I was saying to people I knew, it's not like you think. It doesn't work that way. That's just all bullshit that they're giving you. Like, for one, universal benefit gets rolled out in this country in October. And that's going to be really hard time for a lot of people. I think the top rate ceiling payment per week is £500. That sounds like a lot of money. But when you think that people's rents that are getting paid out of that could be £100 a week, could be more. And council tax and the stuff that has to come out. there's not going to be a lot of money left after that's done. And bear in mind, it's up to now, these things are being getting paid by things like the Social Security and that, and they're not going to be paid that way anymore. It's up to you to pay them. Now that's all right for the average person who's, you know, got the wits about them and remembers to pay each week, put the money away and pay the bills. But there are a lot of people who could be, say, suffering mental stress, mental problems, or like the way it's now care in the community, people that should be receiving help don't get the help. They're left to roam. And you'll have these kind of people who are addicted to things, maybe drink, maybe drugs, thinking that they're a millionaire when they get the money and going and having a good time, not realising that it's up to them to pay their rent and everything else. And you can almost foresee the problems that's going to happen when this happens. And it's just going to be awful for people. I can't tell you how bad it's going to be. But the reason I got led to the story and then led to this was, it reminds me of about a month ago on Facebook. These I suppose it's the same in every country. There are areas where you live, like say I'm in Liverpool, so there's various pages, Liverpool in colour, you know, stuff like that. Old Liverpool, where people, you know, who grew up together rekindle their friendships online and you know, comment on photographs in there, and it's quite nice for what it is. And on one of these sites, OSF, their page, about a month ago, there was a bit of a debate going on about the bedroom tax and stuff like that, and it was just people just saying things like, you know, oh, it's going to get hard, it's going to be this way, and a couple of people were commenting, and I commented. Now, a person on there, it was commenting quite crassly to begin with. You know, you could tell it was uneducated commenting on the situation. And they were making comments about the bedroom tax, for instance, and certain people were saying, oh, these Tory bastards, these, that. And I was just sort of watching, if you like, and just adding the odd comment, but not putting nothing heavy down. Just like commenting and that. Until this person who said, oh, I can't believe this is happening, this is great, I never thought we could have debate like this within these pages. And then proceeded to do the usual, that bastard Thatcher, they want hang and they want this and all that, which is really naive. Naive for people to think that. And I can understand a lot of them thinking it. There's a lot of anger against Thatcher. And I don't particularly like it myself. I thought it was fucking disgusting. But the difference is, I knew what was coming and took the time out to find out. And a lot of people didn't. And I'm not the only one. I'm not claiming the high ground. I know other people who did as well. But the majority didn't. So it ends up with, he just put these comments like, you know, that bastard Thatcher, robbing the milk, doing all this kind of thing. And it means fuck all. They don't understand how the world works. If they really did, they would never say things like that. You just wouldn't say it. It's not worth it. It's just so naive. But anyway, I was going to remind them that, you know, Thatcher hasn't been in power for a long time in Britain, and all these things are still happening, so, you know, you can't blame her for fucking everything, like. And I did say these are results of Agenda 21. Now, every time you say Agenda 21, it's like someone's just stole your children and sold them. People just look at you in dismay. Because, you know, there are over 90 million people on Facebook, and the majority of them do not want the truth. You don't want to hear it. It's all been dumbed down. That's what Facebook's there for, to dumb you down so you don't see what's going on, and you think you're living in the illusion of a happy world, when it's not fucking happy. It's not happy for millions of people. And so much so that it's beginning to encroach on people you know now and into our areas. And Agenda 21 was signed up for the treaty in about 1992 in Brazil. And it has some really terrible implications for us. Terrible, beyond belief. And if you took the time to go and look at Agenda 21 properly and read the list of things that are not sustainable, which is awful, truly awful, it just tells you where we're going, where we're heading. And Agenda 21 was signed up for by over 120 countries. So basically it's most of the world. And these rules are getting applied in every country in their own way, and in every town and city within those countries. And it's really awful. I kid you not, it's awful. But the reason why I'm going on about it, I mentioned this fact, and this person came back and said, oh, well, I'm not really interested in conspiracy theories. I'm interested in the here and now. Now, that word, conspiracy, the two words, conspiracy theories, they were invented by the very people that are doing this to put people like me, who study geopolitics, off the scent, and to make them look ridiculous in the eyes of the many. And remember, the many don't know the truth. And it's just all to keep people off. I've never been a conspiracy theorist, never. And I don't think you'll see anything that I've put up that is like a conspiracy or anything. It's always all fact with me. The facts that are staring you in the face, if you keep off the TV and don't read the bullshit in the newspapers, it's staring you right in the face. So I said, this is the here and now. It is here and now. This is what's happening. People have been getting made poorer and poorer. That's why they're hitting the lowest. The people with the least money, the most vulnerable, are getting paying for all the cuts, when the richest and the ones who have everything are getting rebates. And that's what's wrong. It's unjust and it's unfair. So this person came back and I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, never have been. This is Agenda 21, it's the truth, it's the law. To which this person went offline. I could tell they'd gone offline for about 15 minutes and they had never heard of Agenda 21. I guarantee you they've never heard of it, because out of all the people I know and I've met, there's only about 3. As a matter of fact, there's only one or two who'd ever heard of it. And these are people like me who are onto what's going on. So I know how rare it is for people to know that, because it's been kept secret, Agenda 21, since the 90s. It's usually referred to by the Prime Minister, whoever's in power since the 1990s. You'll always hear them refer to it as the big society. That's because they dare not say the name Agenda 21, because you'll find out exactly what the plans are for you. So I looked at this comment and thought, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So the person then comes back with an explanation about people and conspiracy theorists who think Agenda 21 is a bad thing. Well, isn't it just a bad thing? And I could tell that it had been lifted. The person had gone on Google, which is the devil, gone and searched and come up with the first thing about Agenda 21. And because they don't know anything about Agenda 21, they took the first thing as that's what it's about. So they then come back and said, I do actually know about Agenda 21. It's a blah, 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 blah. They said it's a treaty, not a law. And it's this, that and the other. To which I just said, well, I don't think I should be, I'll refrain from commenting now, because it's not the place to do it, because I realised then I was dealing with someone who was thick and had cheated, if you like, or thought they cheated and thought they'd look clever, and gone and probably looked on Wikipedia, because I found the same thing basically verbatim to what the person said, which is all rubbish. It's not the truth of Agenda 21. So being a decent chappy, I tried to I messaged the person private and said, Agenda 21 is a treaty, but it's been applied as a law. Now I knew the person didn't know that, and had only pulled it out the hat to try and look clever. So I said, this is the here and now, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and if you want to debate it, I'm up for that, like, it's good. To which obviously the person replied back, well, we beg to differ, And when they say we'll beg to differ, that means I don't know what the fucking hell I'm talking about, and I ain't getting into debate with you. Because you obviously do. That's what it means. That's their way of, you know, not being caught out. And that's what happened. So, you know, you can try. But I've met many people like that in my life. Many people who purport to know. But they don't. So that's what led me to get angry when I read this. Because this is the mainstream press. This is not conspiracy theory. This is the mainstream press telling you what's happening. And unfortunately for people like the person on OSF, it's people like that person that holds us back. Uneducated. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't really want to go and find out what they're talking about. They're living in a fucking dream world. And when someone comes along like me, who's speaking the truth, studies geopolitics, and breaks that bubble, then it's bad. And my message to that person, or anyone on those forums, is really seriously think about, where did you get your news from? Before you print it up and say it in statements, have you sourced it? Do you know where it came from? And then when you find out, and you understand, then open your mouth. Then do these things. Don't just take blindly the words of this, the Daily Mirror, the Sun, the Daily Mail, the Times, all these papers. All of them are owned by the same people. They're all owned by the same people to spread the same bullshit to keep you in a dream world. None of them are independent, not even the Independent. So there's no right and there's no left. Remember that. It's all one thing. And it is coming, whether you like it or not. And unless we come to an agreement that we are getting ripped off, instead of us and them, it's thick people like that that make enemies of people like me. People who understand and have sourced the material properly. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people all the while who don't fucking understand what's happening. And because there's loads of them, they shout their mouth off in a crass, unintelligent way, rather than debate. Debate is being killed. People don't want to debate because they've got nothing to say. They've got absolutely nothing to say. If it isn't on Facebook, if it isn't in these papers, if it isn't on the TV, in the soaps, or everything else, they don't have anything to say. Conversation is being killed, and that's the problem. And that's the way they want everybody. They want the masses to be that way. That way, can't think straight. They don't know what's happening. And once you stop watching these things and reading these things, you begin to. It's like getting detoxed. Your mind becomes your own again, and it's alert, and you're looking around to what's going on, and you can see. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what you need to know. Because the behaviour of what, say, that person did there is, you know, I've been proved right here. It all is. People like me have been proved right. Everything I said was going to happen has happened. That's how it is. And you can find out the same information. I'm not cleverer than you or anything. Well, I am cleverer than you, the person I'm talking about. But I mean, you can find out all these things by just researching yourself if you go to the right place. And if you ever want any tips on it, you can contact me and I will give you them. That's what this is about, really. It's a sad thing, but that's what people do all the time. They open their mouth without understanding. And it's a bit like what it reminded me of, the situation with the comments and all that. This is what all this brought back to me when I read this. It reminded me of, you know, you used to be in quizzes and you go to a quiz team and you'd be in a pub or something. And it's all a bit of fun, isn't it? Not too serious. But there are those who want to appear clever than they actually are. And you always get them people, don't you, on the mobile phone trying to get the answers, or going in the toilets in the pub and they're on the phone feverishly away trying to get the answers to appear clever. But unfortunately, if you go to the wrong place for those answers, then you get the wrong answers. And you did as well. That's what's wrong. And when you think you're going to appear cleverer, you actually appear thicker. Because it shows. Because anyone who knew about Agenda 21 really knew about what's happening, and really knew why the bedroom tax is here, and all those things, would never have made them comments. They would know. They would know why they're here. And that's what's wrong. So bear that in mind. Onwards and upwards.